Good evening and welcome to our annual meeting this evening. I have a few notices for the last time from me. Please note the location of the fire exits, which are behind you and over to your right. Please make sure your mobile phones and other devices are switched to silent, and I'll give you time to do that. The meeting is being live streamed and an audio recording being made. Please switch your microphone on when addressing the council and off when you finish speaking. And we advise members to remain seated while speaking to ensure a good quality recording can be made. But we'll remain standing for prayers taken by the Reverend Lisa Barnett, Vicar of St Mary's Church, Horsham. Thank you.
So let's pray. Faithful God, in this season of endings and beginnings, we give thanks for all that has gone well in the last year, for the achievements that we celebrate and the successes that we've enjoyed. We acknowledge the things that have been difficult, the tensions and the bruises that we still carry, and the challenges that remain ahead. We give thanks for those who've journeyed with us through this year, family, friends and colleagues whose support has been unwavering and who have enabled us to keep going. And we call to mind again why we do this, the deeper call of service, the responsibility of leadership, and the vocation to look beyond our own needs to those of our communities. Amen.
Thank you very much, Lisa. Please be seated. Well, this is a different format, but at least we don't have any pillars, and at least I can see who is here, so it's great. Item 1, I have apologies for absence. Councillors Sam Bateman, Tony Beavis, Joanne Knowles, Kasia Greenwood, Richard Landau, Dennis Livingstone and John Olson. I don't have any more apologies. The annual council meeting takes a different format from usual, and it actually gives me an opportunity to say something for a change. And so I am allowed to address you with my end of year speech. Now, I do promise this is not going to be a long speech, but I'm just going to take the advantage to address you. I think it's rather sort of something splendid, so there you go. So bear with me. People ask me, have I enjoyed my second year of chairmanship? And after reflection, I can say it has been a thoroughly fulfilling and special year. So the next question is why? Well, I'd like to give you a flavour of some of the events and occasions that I attended without just reading a list which said I had 27 fates, 5 flag raisings, whatever. And I've met people from all walks of life, both young and not so long, yet old. And I've attended events like those put on by a model railway club, to the Remembrance Day parade and service in Horsham town, organised by the British Legion. So from small to large. And I've opened small fates, and I've spoken to hundreds in a conference. All parts of my role. The kaleidoscope of events has been immense. Some such as the opening of St Catherine's new hospice, some state-of-the-art when they opened the new fire station, some joyful such as the Scouts Parade on St George's Day in the Carfax, which was fantastic when there were hundreds of youngsters all excited, carrying flags, and the colour was tremendous, and we had some music and rhythm from a drummer band, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Very difficult to stand still when you've got a lot of people drumming. The rhythm gets to you. And I've also attended something called the Big Sing, which was arranged by West Sussex Music, which is a charity, to pull in schools and youngsters to sing and present a musical programme. So it's been a varied year, and there have been other events that I've attended, events that have dealt with the care of the planet, green strategies, recycling and fair trade featured, reminding us of our district's commitment to improving our environment. I've also been tempted to undertake some physical activity. I did actually ride a static bike when we opened the Health and Wellbeing Hub, and that was quite good. And I was in competition, I think, with a councillor from Crawley, but needless to say, I won, so that was great. I also went to the Phoenix Stroke Club, which some of you will know about, and I enjoyed playing curling against some of the residents and some of the people who attended. Needless to say, I didn't win that. They're very good. And of course, I also, apart from that, went to the bowls club and learned how to play bowls, and I can recommend it for all those who wish to do something which is relaxing and enjoyable. I was invited to present awards, and I was much taken with Horsham Lifesaving Club, which is run by volunteers, and we have a lot of volunteers in our district. And I also presented to the Volunteer of the Year his trophy at Storrington at the Chanctonbury Leisure Centre, because he's the face of Chanctonbury Leisure Centre. And he was delightful. He put me on a machine to see whether in fact I was fit or not, and I'm not going to tell you the result of that. But it was great to go and meet with these people around the district and listen to what they had to say. And what came through to me loud and clear was that this district relies on its volunteers. It doesn't matter what society, what group of people, what friends of, or whatever it is, they are run by volunteers. And without volunteers, I have a suspicion that this district would not be able to do the things it does and entertain the activities and actually supporting one another. And I suppose that what you want in a volunteer is someone who is enthusiastic, energetic, able to give time, committed and kind, because those volunteers out there in our district help individuals as well as groups and communities. And in fact, Oscar Wilde put it quite neatly, really. Oscar Wilde said that the smallest act of kindness is worth much more than the grandest intention. We need people out there, and we have people out there who are fantastically committed, enthusiastic, and above all kind. So this is what makes our district as it is. The volunteers to improve the lot of others. And if you look on our website, HDC website, Volunteer Bureau, you will see the numbers of voluntary bodies and the number of people that they require to help out. And it is amazing. I was at Amberley Chalk Pits on Friday for the presentation of the King's Award for Volunteers. And the number that stuck in my mind was that they have something in the region of 400 volunteers down there actually working in that incapacity as volunteers. I'd also like to mention the Olive Tree Trust, which was my charity of the year. Some of you will know, many of you will know about it. It's a small charity. It's set up to enable families of those with cancer, and indeed those who are suffering from cancer, from getting support and help. It's a worthwhile charity. It's small. It's, of course, run by volunteers with one paid staff, but it actually reaches people that wouldn't necessarily have that support. And I was impressed by it. I went to their presentation 2 years ago when it was the Queen's Award for Volunteers over in Crawley, and this is now an offshoot and working in Horsham. I commend it to you if you have time to go and see what they are doing. But those people are working, the volunteers are doing the administration, they're raising money, they're actually providing support, and it just is an example of what we need and what we indeed have in our community. So I think that volunteers are crucial, and it struck me very much going from north to south, east to west in our district, that this is what we have to be thankful for, and this is what we need to encourage. I was struck by one volunteer who said that they did feel a little bit isolated from Horsham working in Namberley. I think it's something to be mindful of, that Amberley is still part of Horsham district. It's a long way away. It's not something necessarily or an area that we think about, but I think we need to expand our horizons. This year is our, as we know, the 50th anniversary of the formation of Horsham District Council. And you know that it was formed, I'm not going to say it again, from the Urban Council in Horsham and the rural Chanctonbury and Horsham Council. And I think that it's important to acknowledge those who have gone before. In fact, we've got one here today who is president, who in fact was chairperson of the Horsham Horsham Urban Council. And it's good to see you, Eve. You are one of our honorary aldermen, and I won't ask you to stand up, but I think it's great that you are here with us. And we did go down to Chanctonbury, quite rightly, because it was our 50th anniversary, and it was right that we should go to Chanctonbury in the district for our last full council meeting. The challenge was made that perhaps we should be going to other towns in the district, because after all, we are one district. And it'll be interesting to see how we go with that challenge. I have tried, when I took over the chairmanship, I wanted to go to as many events and as many communities as I could in the district. Unfortunately, I couldn't get to all of them. The district is very large, and there are an awful lot of clubs and various other things. So, as a gift to my successor, I'm going to give him the gift or the challenge of asking him to continue to go to as many as you can and meet as many people as you can and get as many photographs in the paper as you can.
I very much accept, Chair.
Finally, I'd just like to thank a few people, if I may, if you bear with me. I'd like to thank my wife, actually, for coming to events with me. I'm sure that she enjoyed them, and if she didn't, she was very, very discreet about it and didn't say anything nasty. And it's good in a car on the way after an event to be able to talk it through. So thank you very much for coming with me to some of those events. I'd like to thank the officers who supported me through the year. They kept me up to date. They acknowledged that I wasn't brilliant on the computer, which I am now actually trying to remedy for future reference. And at least I went to the right events and I got there on time. So thank you very much for all that you did for me. And I have to say that we're very fortunate here with our officers, and they actually do support us. So thank you very much and pass that on please to your officers. I have one final outstanding memory. So this is my final point. It was a memory that I've held on to through this year. It was on one summer Sunday evening at St Mary's in the Causeway when we had the civic service. Some of you were there, I know. There were dignitaries, councillors, officers, and volunteers from many organisations, and it was an outstanding service or meeting. But the final hymn began, "Guide me, O thou great Redeemer." And I love that because the tune is fantastic, Cum Ronda, and it's really got it stirs one up. And I remember walking up the Causeway, having come out of church, having listened to the words and the tune, and singing as lustily as I could. And I thought, as I walked up the Causeway, how privileged we are in Horsham and this district to enjoy the surroundings, the countryside, and enjoy the people that we meet. And it was a challenge to me, and I hope that I've met it, but it's also a challenge for all of us as we serve our communities. So thank you for bearing with me and not heckling. I will move on now to the election of chairman. So I'm going to call for nominations for chairman of the council. And I think that Councillor Martin Boffey is going to propose that.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. I would like to propose Councillor Nigel Emery be elected as chairman.
And seconded by...
I'd like to second that.
Thank you. Do either of them wish to say anything in support of that?
Just that obviously Nigel has been a new councillor this year and has taken on the role of vice chairman, supporting yourself. I think he's done it admirably, steadfastly, and has been able to fill in for you as necessary on the rare occasions when you couldn't fill full duties. I think he's more than ready to take on the role for the coming year, and I look forward to seeing him do it.
Thank you, Councillor Boffey. So, are there any other nominations for chairman? In that case, it's been moved and seconded that Councillor Nigel Emery should be the chairman of the council for the coming municipal year. Are you all agreed? Agreed. Thank you. Councillor Emery, you have been duly elected chairman of the council for the coming municipal year. Once you have signed your declaration of acceptance of office and taken up the chain of office, I will relinquish my post, my position, and you will take over for the next item. I think the Chief Executive will ask you to sign a declaration of acceptance. And I'm now going to hand over my chain to Nigel. You do. Just got to to make sure, really. No problem.
Thank you. I would like to move a vote of thanks to David Skipp as our retiring chairman. David has overseen a period of significant change to our council since the election in May 2023. There are many new councillors with varying degrees of experience of local government and with a wide range of skills and life experiences. David has very successfully chaired many council meetings with great skill and patience. His contribution to the many committees he attends is always very thoughtful. And an example of that was only yesterday at the planning meeting, where he made an invaluable contribution to the meeting. So thank you. I, for one, have learnt so much from just listening to David, and I suspect many of you are the same. His contribution, his commitment to his civic duties has been exemplary, speaking at the many charitable events, awards, and commemorations, which of course he detailed before, so I won't replicate what he said. I would just like to highlight the work he has done with the chairman's charity, the Olive Tree Cancer Support Group. Cancer affects 1/3 of people in the UK, and this tiny, small charity helps local cancer patients, their families and carers, providing well-being and emotional support. I have first-hand experience at an event that David was unable to attend of meeting with those people, and I would commend you all to spend some time with them. They're a wonderful, wonderful charity, and they do a marvellous job. I suspect all of us here have been touched by cancer. I know I have. Everybody, we need somebody to support them. And I'd like to publicly acknowledge, on behalf of the council, the help and guidance that Helen has given to David over the last 12 months. I hope that you will find diary management a bit easier in the coming year. To conclude, I would like to thank David on behalf of all councillors and officers for the tremendous contribution you have made to life in the district in the last 12 months. We all look forward to working closely with you in the coming year, in whatever role you choose to follow within the council. I think we just have a small presentation for David and for Helen.
Can I just say thank you very much on behalf of my wife and myself, and we will enjoy your gift. So thank you very much indeed, all of you.
Okay. We will now move on to item 4 on the agenda, the appointment of the vice chairman. The nomination of Councillor Beavis will be moved by Councillor Martin Boffin.
Yes, thank you very much, Chairman. I would like to propose that Councillor Bevis be the Vice Chairman of the Council for the coming year.
Thank you. Councillor Milne, do you wish to second
Yes,
that?
and I'll second that.
Do you wish to make any comments?
I just wanted to say that I know Councillor Bevis, Tony, is sad that he's unable to be with us this evening, but in nominating him, I would say he's one of our most experienced councillors. Has not necessarily been on the council throughout the period of time, but he was on the council in the late 1990s, and he's fulfilled many roles in this district, and one of them, principal among them, is the work he does with Citizens Advice, which brings him into contact with many of our residents who need our support the most. So I think he will make an excellent Vice Chairman and support to you in this year. Thank you.
Thank you. It has been moved and seconded that Councillor Tony Bevis should be the Vice Chairman of the Council for the coming municipal year. Oh, thank you. Are there any, sorry, thank you. Are there any other nominations for the role of Vice Chairman? Thank you. It has been moved and seconded that Councillor Tony Bevis should be the Vice Chairman of the Council for the coming municipal year. Are you all in agreement? Agreed. Councillor Bevis has been duly elected Vice Chairman of the Council for the coming municipal year. As Councillor Bevis has sent his apologies this evening, he will sign his declaration of acceptance of office and take up the badge of this office upon his return. Moving on to item 5, announcements. I have been informed by the leader of the council, Martin Boffey, of the following changes that have been made to the Cabinet with immediate effect. Councillor John Olsen has today resigned as Cabinet Member for Leisure, Culture and Green Spaces. He is succeeded in this role by Councillor David Skipp. Furthermore, the leader has created a new Cabinet portfolio for performance, customer service and communications. The Cabinet Member for this portfolio will be Councillor Anthony Franklin. I would like to join the leader in thanking Councillor Olsen for his service over the past year and to congratulate Councillors Skipp and Franklin on their new appointments and to wish them the best in the coming year. Moving on now to item 6, the review of political balance and allocation of seats to political groups. I invite Lauren Kelly, Monitoring Officer, to present this item.
Thank you, Chairman. This report concerns seat allocations to political parties. By way of background, the Council has a legal duty first to review the representation of political groups on committees, and second, to allocate seats to political groups. The detail of the Council's political composition and seat allocations is contained in paragraph 3 to this report. Ordinarily, committees are politically balanced unless otherwise agreed. However, as in previous years here, it is proposed that the Employment Committee and the 2 planning committees are not politically balanced. Legally, members are able to disapply the proportionality rules for these committees, provided that no member votes against doing so. Accordingly, the Council is asked first to note the membership of the political groups, second, to note the allocation of committee seats to each political group, and third, to resolve that the Employment Committee and the 2 planning committees are not politically balanced. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Does any member wish to move the recommendations set out in this report? Councillor Boffey?
Yes, I'll move the motion, Chairman.
Thank you. And is there a seconder to the motion? Thank you, Councillor Mercer. I'm assuming no one wishes to speak on this item. Are we all agreed? Agreed. Thank you. The motion is carried. Moving now on to item 7.11, constitution and the appointment of committees. We will take agenda items 7 to 11 together. Nominations from the group leaders for the membership of committees are shown in the circulated schedule. Please note that 11 members will be appointed to each policy development advisory group. However, the meetings will be held jointly as set out in the schedule. I therefore call upon Councillor Martin Boffey to move the appointment of members to the committees and the joint committee as listed at items 7 to 11 on the agenda for the coming municipal year.
So moved. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Mercer. Are you all agreed? Agreed. Thank you. Moving on now to item 12, the programme and time of ordinary council meetings. I call upon Councillor Martin Boffey to move the programme and time of ordinary council meetings for the coming municipal year.
Thank you, Chairman. I move that the programme of ordinary council meetings for the coming year should be as shown on the agenda, and that ordinary council meetings for the coming municipal year should commence at 6 p.m.
Do we have a seconder to that motion? Thank you, Councillor Mercer. Are we all in agreement? Agreed. Thank you. That completes the formal business of the annual council meeting, and this meeting is now closed. However, there will now be a brief meeting of each committee to appoint the respective chairman, vice chairman, and agree the times of meetings. So could you please remain in your seats for a few more minutes? Each committee meeting should take 2 minutes. Members of the public may wish to leave at this point. You may wish to make your way to the Capitol for the reception, and we will all look forward to joining you there shortly. Accordingly, we are now moving to the committee meetings. Okay. We will now hold the first meeting of the Audit Committee. Can I please ask the following members to stand? Councillor Joy Dennis, Councillor Len Ellis-Brown, Councillor Warwick Hellewell, Councillor Belinda Waters, and myself. Do we have any nominations for the chairman of the Audit Committee? The nomination of Councillor Dennis Livingston. Sorry.
Sorry to completely throw me now. I'd like to nominate Councillor Dennis Livingston as Chair of the Audit Committee.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder to that?
Yes, I second that.
Thank you, Councillor Hellewell. Are there any other nominations? No. It has therefore been moved and seconded that Councillor Dennis Livingston should be the Chairman of the Audit Committee for the coming municipal year. Are you all agreed? Agreed. Thank you. As Councillor Dennis Livingston has sent his apologies, I will remain in the chair for the next item, the election of the Vice Chairman. Do we have any nominations for the Vice Chairman of the Audit Committee?
Yes. I nominate Belinda Waters as Vice Chair.
Thank you. I second that nomination. Do we have any other nominations? No? It has been moved and seconded that Councillor Belinda Waters should be the Vice Chairman of the Audit Committee for the coming municipal year. Are we all in agreement? Agreed. Thank you. The Vice Chairman will now.
Thank you, Chair. As this is to agree the time of the meetings for the year. It's been suggested that the meetings for this committee are held at 5:30. Do we have a proposer for the meetings for the year to be held at 5:30? Thank you. Do we have a seconder? Thank you. It's been proposed and seconded that the time of the meetings will be 5:30 p.m. for the coming municipal year. Are you all agreed? Agreed. Thank you. This meeting has closed at, what time is it?
6:36.
6:36. Members of this committee may now be seated. This meeting is then closed.
Thank you. We will now hold the first meeting of the Governance Committee. Can the following members please stand? Councillor James Brooks, Councillor Martin Boffey, Councillor John Campbell, Councillor Paul Clark, Councillor Mike Croker, Councillor Claire Vickers, Councillor Belinda Waters, and myself. Do we have any nominations for the Chairman of the Governance Committee?
Thank you, Chair. I would like to propose that Councillor Belinda Waters is elected Chair of the Governance Committee for the coming year.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder?
I'll second that, Chairman.
Are there any other nominations? No? I therefore can move and that it has been moved and seconded that the Councillor Belinda Waters should be the Chairman of the Governance Committee for the coming municipal year. Are you all in agreement? Agreed. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. This is to nominate for the Vice Chair of the Governance Committee. Do we have any nominations?
Yes, Chairman, I would like to nominate that Councillor James Brooks be the Vice Chairman of the Governance Committee.
Thank you. And do we have a seconder? Oh, sorry, it's me. I'd like to second James as my colleague as Vice Chair of the Governance Committee. Thank you. The nomination of Councillor James Brooks will be moved by me, the Chairman. I'm reading this and I shouldn't be. Are there any other nominations for the Vice Chair of the Governance Committee? No, thank you. It's been moved and seconded that Councillor James Brooks should be Vice Chair of the Governance Committee for the coming municipal year. Are you all agreed? Agreed. Thank you. I will then move on to the timings of the meetings for the year. It's been suggested that the meetings for this committee are held at 5:30. Do we have a proposer for the meetings for the year to be held at 5:30? Thank you. Do we have a seconder? Thank you. It's been proposed and seconded that the time of the meetings will be 5:30 for the coming municipal year. Are you all agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you. This meeting has closed at 6:39. You can all be seated. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now hold the first meeting of the Licensing Committee. Please can the following members please stand? Councillor Emma Beard, Councillor Mike Croker, Councillor Victoria Finnegan, Councillor Ruth Fletcher, Councillor Nick Grant, Councillor Warwick Hellowell, Councillor Lynn Lambert, Councillor Jay Mercer, Councillor John Milne, Councillor Josh Potts, and Councillor Roger Knoll. Do we have any nominations for the Chairman of the Licensing Committee?
I would like to nominate Councillor Grant, Vice Chairman.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder?
Yes, I'll second that.
Are there any other nominations? No. It has been moved and seconded that Councillor Nick Grant should be the chairman of the Licensing Committee for the coming municipal year. Are you in agreement?
Agreed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, everyone. So we're moving now to remaining item to appoint a Vice Chair for the Licensing Committee. And I'm proposing that Councillor John Olsen be elected as Vice Chairman of the Licensing Committee. And do I have a seconder?
Yes. Yes, I second that.
Great. Okay, thank you. Are there any other nominations for Vice Chair? No? Okay. So it's been moved and seconded that Councillor John Olsen should be the Vice Chair of the Licensing Committee for the coming municipal year. Are you all agreed?
Agreed.
Okay, great. So that's done. It's been suggested that the meetings for this committee are held at 5:30 p.m. Do we have a proposer for the meetings for the year to be held at 5:30? Councillor Mercer, thank you very much. Do we have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Hallowell. So it's been proposed and seconded that the time of the meetings will be 5:30 p.m. for the coming municipal year. Are you all agreed?
Agreed.
Brilliant. Okay. This meeting is now closed at 18:42, and members for this committee may now be seated.
Thank you. We will now hold the first meeting of the Overview and Scrutiny Committee. Could the following members please stand? Councillor John Campbell, Councillor Philip Circus, Councillor Paul Clark, Councillor Len Ellis-Brown, Councillor Nick Grant, Councillor Alex Jeffrey, Councillor Liz Kitchen, Councillor Jill Perry, Councillor Jonathan Taylor, Councillor John Trollope, Councillor Belinda Walters, and Councillor Claire Vickers. Do we have any nominations for the chairman of the Overview and Scrutiny Committee?
Can I nominate Councillor Paul Clark?
Thank you. Do we have a seconder?
I'll second that, Chair.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations? Thank you. It has been moved and seconded that Councillor Paul Clark shall be the chairman of the Overview and Scrutiny Committee for the coming municipal year. Are you in agreement?
Agreed.
Thank you. Paul.
Thank you, Chairman. As Chairman of the Overview and Scrutiny Committee, I will move to appoint a Vice Chairman. Do we have any nominations for the Vice Chair of the Overview and Scrutiny Committee?
Yes, I'd like to nominate Councillor Dennis Livingston.
And do you have a seconder?
I do.
I'll second that, Chair.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations for Vice Chair of Overview and Scrutiny? No? It has been moved and seconded that Councillor Dennis Livingston should be the Vice Chair of Overview and Scrutiny Committee for the coming municipal year. Are you all agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you. It has been suggested that the meetings of the committee are held at 5:30 p.m, 17:30. Do we have a proposer for the meetings for the year to be held at 5:30 p.m, 17:30 hours? Councillor Kitchen, thank you. Do we have a seconder?
Yeah.
Councillor Vickers, thank you. It's been proposed and seconded that the time of the meetings will be at 5:30 p.m, 17:30 for the coming municipal year. Are you all agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you. This meeting has been closed at, well, whatever, 18:45. Well, members for this committee will now be seated. Thank you, and the meeting will be closed.
Thank you, Councillor Clark. We will now hold the first meeting of the Planning North Committee. Please can the following members stand? Councillor Colette Blackburn, Councillor James Brooks, Councillor Ruth Fletcher, Councillor Chris Frank, Councillor Anthony Franklin, Councillor Nick Grant, Councillor Warwick Hellawell, Councillor Liz Kitchen, Councillor Jane Mercer, Councillor John Milne, Councillor Colin Minto, Councillor David Skipp, Councillor Clive Trott, Councillor Peter van der Boer, Councillor Claire Vickers, and Councillor Tricia Utan. Do we have any nominations for the chairman of the Planning North
Point of
Committee?
order, Chairman. Councillor Tony Hogben is here as well.
Oh, apologies. Sorry, Tony. Didn't see you at the back. Sorry, no. Sorry, do we have any nominations for the chairman of the Planning North Committee?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I'd like to nominate Councillor Peter van der Boer for Chair.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder to that? Thank you, Councillor Minto. Are there any other nominations? It has therefore been moved and seconded that Councillor Peter van der Boer should be the chairman of the Planning North Committee for the coming municipal year. Are you all in agreement?
Agreed.
Thank you. Chairman.
Thank you. So we'll move on to nominations for the Vice Chairman. And I would like to nominate Councillor Tony Trevis, who would be the Vice Chair of Planning Committee North. Can I have a second for that, please? Thank you very much. Mr. Minto. Are there any other nominations for that position? Okay. It's been moved. Okay, so it has been moved that the seconded that the Councillor Tony Trevis should be the Vice Chair of the Planning North Committee for the coming municipal year. Are you all agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you very much. It has been suggested that the meetings for this committee are held at 5:30. Do we have a proposer for the meetings for the year to be held at 5:30? Thank you, Councillor Mercer. And do we have a seconder, please? Councillor Blackburn, thank you very much. So it's been proposed and seconded that the time of the meetings will be at 5:30 for the coming municipal year. Are you all agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you very much. This meeting is now closed at 18:48.
Thank you very much, Chairman. We will now hold the first meeting of the Planning South Committee. Please can the following members please stand? Councillor Mark Bainham, Councillor Emma Beard, Councillor John Campbell, Councillor Philip Serkis, Councillor Paul Clark, Councillor Michael Croker, Councillor Joy Dennis, Councillor Len Ellis-Brown, Councillor Victoria Finnegan, Councillor Claude Fisher, Councillor Joanne Grish, Councillor Lynn Lambert, Councillor Nicholas Marks, Councillor Alan Manton, Councillor Roger Knoll, Councillor Jill Perry, Councillor Josh Potts, and Councillor John Trollope. Do we have any nominations for the chairman of the Planning Committee?
Yes, Chair. I'd like to nominate Councillor Ellis-Brown for the chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder?
Yes, Chair.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations? It has therefore been moved and seconded that Councillor Len Ellis-Brown should be the chairman of the Planning South Committee for the coming municipal year. Are you in agreement? Thank you. Len.
I propose propose that Councillor Joanne Knowles be elected as Vice Chairman of the Planning South Committee. Do I have a seconder for that? Are there any other nominations? It has been moved and seconded that Councillor Joanne Knowles be the Vice Chair of the Planning South Committee for the coming municipal year. Are you all agreed? Agreed. It has been suggested that the meetings for this committee are held at 5:30 p.m. Do we have a proposer for the meetings for the year to be held at 5:30 p.m.? Thank you. Do we have a seconder? Thank you.
Councillor Mill and myself are supposed to be on that committee, chairman of the board.
Standing up.
Okay. That's noted and it will be included. Thank you.
Okay. It has been proposed and seconded that the time of the meetings will be 5:30 p.m. from the coming municipal year. Are you all agreed? Agreed. This meeting has closed at 18:52. Members for this committee may now be seated. The meeting is closed.
Thank you. We will now hold the first meeting of the Standards Committee. Can the following members please stand? Councillor Mark Bainham, Councillor Joan Grech, apologies. Councillor Lynn Lambert, Councillor Belinda Walters, Councillor Tricia Utan, and myself. Do we have any nominations for the chairman of the Standards Committee?
Yes, Chair. I'd like to nominate Councillor John Olsen as Chair of Standards Committee.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder?
Yes, I second that.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations? Thank you. It has been moved and seconded that Councillor John Olsen should be the chairman of the Standards Committee for the coming municipal year. Are you all agreed? Thank you. As Councillor John Olsen has sent his apologies, I will remain in the chair for the next item, the election of the Vice Chairman. Do we have any nominations for the Vice Chairman of the Standards Committee?
I'd like to nominate Councillor Mill.
Thank you, and I will second that nomination. Are there any other nominations? It has been moved and seconded that Councillor Belinda Walters should be the Vice Chairman of the Standards Committee for the coming municipal year. Are you agreed? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. It's been suggested that the meetings for this committee are held at 5:30 p.m. I have a proposal for the meetings for the year to be held at 5:30 p.m.
Yes.
Thank you.
Do we have a seconder? Thank you. It's been proposed and seconded that the time of the meetings will be 5:30 p.m. for the coming municipal year. Are you all agreed?
Agreed.
This meeting has closed, will now close, sorry, at 18:54, and the members can now be seated. Thank you.
Would you please wait in your places whilst the chairman and vice chairman of the council leave the room?
Thank you. Thank you all very much indeed. I look forward to seeing you over in the cabinet.